After 12 days of riding our small motorbike across the north of Vietnam, we finally arrive in the central part of the country. In this episode, we'll explore the Vinh Moc tunnels before arriving in Hue, where we get a taste of the delicious local cuisine and explore the impressive Emperor's Palace. We continue our journey, stopping for a day in Hoi An to admire the beautiful ancient city, before finally making it to the coastal city of Nha Trang to get a few days of well-deserved rest. We started our day with a rainy ride from the caves of Phong Nha to the historical Vinh Moc tunnels. We have made it to the Vinh Moc tunnels and are now going to explore the place a little bit. It's a little bit hard to park, so we just parked at a random restaurant in front, but it was cheap. 5,000 dong, so I think it's fine. And the tickets to get in here is 50,000 per person. The Vinh Moc tunnels were built during the Vietnam War to protect villagers from intense American bombing. Strategically positioned on the border in North and South Vietnam, these tunnels were constructed to shelter the people of Son Trong and Son Ha communes. The villagers initially dug 10 meters underground, but later extended the tunnels to 30 meters deep to avoid newly designed American bombs. Completed between 1965 and 1967, the complex included wells, kitchens, healthcare spaces, and rooms for each family, housing around 60 families and resulting in the birth of 17 children. Remarkably, no villagers lost their lives, and the tunnels even utilized a bomb crater as a ventilation shaft. Today, the 2-kilometer-long Vinh Moc tunnels are a popular tourist attraction and stand as a testament to the resilience and determination of the Vietnamese people during the war. I have to say it was a really interesting experience. There's also a kind of tiny museum at the very beginning, a building that explains some of the stuff that was going on here and has really nice pictures from those times. So if you're in the area of Hue and you have the opportunity to come here, I would definitely recommend it. We still have 2 hours to go to Hue, so we're gonna head out and finish the 2 remaining hours in our trip.
I believe that the bridge that we just crossed actually brings us into the southern part of Vietnam, or at least maybe not the southern part, but the part that was south of the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and which was the anti-communist, US supported for Western Vietnam. But yeah, so I think now we're basically in the very, very center of Vietnam. So we still have 2 hours to get to Hue, and after that, I think we'll just take a shower and go and walk around the city to relax a little bit and enjoy what the city has to offer.
We have finally made it to Hue, and you can see the city right behind me. The first thing we need to do is get some good food and then try to see the Imperial City. I don't know much about it yet, but I mean, you know, that's why we're here. We're here to learn about the people and the culture. After a delicious meal at Nina's Cafe, we decided to go to the Hue walking street, which is like the famous street in Hue, and get a few drinks before heading back to the hotel. On my way to the Imperial City because yesterday we were pretty tired, and you know what, after all this driving we've decided to stay here an extra day. It's a really nice city. I think for now we're pretty happy about it. It looks a lot cleaner than Hanoi. Another thing that we really like here is the food that seems a little bit more diverse, and to be honest, in my opinion, it's a little bit better than in the north. It's not that it wasn't good in the north, but the variety of food, at least in our opinion, in our experience, was not that great. And here, it's like we're rediscovering Vietnamese cuisine. So it's really great. As I said, we're staying here for an extra day. On our way to go visit the Imperial Palace with the tour guide. We booked a tour guide for 2.5 hours.
I started to work as a tour guide from 2014.
Okay, 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years now. And so I have a lot of things to show you on the tour guide. So here you go, everyone. This one is the complex of Imperial City. It's surrounded and protected by the wall in here. And 100 buildings started to be built in 1803. And 30 years later, over 100 buildings was built inside this area. So we see the 5 palaces here, 2 palaces in front using for the king working, and 3 palaces on the back using for family of king living. And then because of this axis represent for the role of the king in the nation. That's why we have in there we have 6 block houses with 100 rooms using for the concubines of king living. And the French War ended in 1954 because of the convention in Geneva. Divided my country into 2 afterwards.
That's after the
after the Dien Bien Phu. So the French was defeated in Dien Bien Phu, and they still didn't want to leave this country. And then they, so a solution to stop the war for a while was a solution, divide the country into 2. And the thing is, this building is so important to the Nguyen dynasty. So this one is like a memorial building to the Nguyen dynasty. The building we just standing there. And Tae Miao Temple was built for one purpose, using to worship all of the kings of Nguyen dynasty after death. So this means 13 kings of Nguyen dynasty ruling the nation from 1802 to 1945 would be worshipped inside the temple, right?
And Ho Chi Minh started fighting in which years in the north already?
Later 1946, 1947.
Before it was just like the ideological preparation, or?
For sure. So it's 1945 when the 2nd September 1945, the Ho Chi Minh declares independence for the country, and of course asking the people in the country
helping him to fight against the French. So then you notice the program. The first program I mentioned to you was the education. Second one is starvation. So of course, finally, it's fighting against the French.
Okay. Because Ho Chi Minh came back in what year?
Ho Chi Minh came back in 1932.
32, okay.
The last king died in 1997, and his grave is still in Paris.
1997 he died? The one who abdicated, or?
The one abdicated.
97 he died?
Yeah, 1997.
Wow.
And this is the women gate. The women gate using for women to go out here. But of course, when I say that, it's not mean that this one is using for all of women living inside Imperial City. This one actually, in fact, that using for the mother of king and main wife of king. Welcome to the residence of King Arthur. Please take a look. Here you go. You see how amazing it is. And this is another Feng Shui screen inside the building. We end our tour in here. I have to say thank you so much.
We just finished the 2.5-hour tour of the Imperial City, and I can only recommend it. I mean, the guide was amazing. His name was Matthew. We booked him through Viator if you want to check it out. But yeah, it was really interesting. We got a really good history lesson about the ruling dynasty here, about how basically from the first emperor that united the North and the South Vietnam to the fourth emperor who saw the French arrive here, and all the way to the 13th emperor who abdicated in 1945, basically with Ho Chi Minh and the independence of Vietnam. So yeah, it was really interesting. The Imperial City itself is really beautiful. It's still not fully reconstructed. Definitely visit this place, it's beautiful. If you can get a guide, that's even better. If not, just maybe take an audio tour or something like that. But yeah, definitely stop here if you're in Hue. Now that we're done with our visit of the Imperial City, we're pretty hungry. So we're gonna grab some food at this place called Family Home Cafe and Restaurant, I believe. It was in our travel guide, so you know, we're thinking why not? And the advice we got yesterday from the same travel guide was really good. It was Nina's restaurant, Nina's Cafe maybe. But yeah, anyway, that was some good advice. So I think this place is really close to the first one, also close to our hotel. So that's our next stop. Okay, so after getting some food, we went back to the hotel to relax a little bit, and now we're out on the street again. We'll probably just chill, maybe check some of the shops in Hue, and yeah, I think that's basically the plan for tonight, just roam the streets a little bit, check out the city one last time, and tomorrow morning we're heading to Hoi An.
We ended our evening by having a beer at the DMZ bar, which was founded in 1994 and is considered the oldest Western bar in the city. The decorations were very interesting, especially the huge DMZ map on the ceiling, and it was overall a nice place. After that, it was time to go to bed and prepare for our next day of travel.
This morning we left Phuket and we're currently on our way to Hoi An, and right now we're actually on the Hai Van Pass. It's really pretty. You can see the sea. I guess the Eastern Sea is what the Vietnamese call it from here. In general, the road is really nice. We only have an hour and 20 to get to our destination, so I'm pretty happy about this. It's nice to have some shorter drives along this adventure, because you do get tired, after driving like for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. That's can be pretty tiring. We finally made it to Hoi An, which it seems is a lot smaller of a city than what we thought. Anyway, we're heading to the old town and probably get some food. I think we're ready for some banh mi here. Maybe also try some of the local specialities.
As you can see here, Hoi An is famous for its tailors that can make you a suit or a dress in only a day or two. Since I already ordered mine in Hanoi, however, I wasn't really interested. What I was interested in was getting a banh mi, and this one ended up one of the best ones I've had in Vietnam.
Coconut, banana, peanut butter.
Despite how beautiful the city was, especially at night, Hoi An did seem like an extremely touristy place. There were lots of bars with people harassing you to go inside. The night market, although kind of interesting, seemed to only sell very generic stuff that I'm not even sure was made in Vietnam. And the hotel we stayed at offered us to go on a coconut boat tour, which once again seemed extremely touristy and didn't really interest us. There's also a show that happens each night with hundreds of performers, That did seem kind of interesting, but unfortunately we didn't really have time for it. At the end of the day, Hoi An was a really beautiful city, but we didn't really feel like staying there for more than one day. The last thing we did in Hoi An was go to this place called Madame Q to grab some dinner, and although kind of pricey, it was good, and it had some pretty cool live music.
This afternoon we're preparing to leave to a city called Hoa Tan. I think there is not much of interest in that city. I mean, maybe there is, we'll see, but not anything that we can find on the internet. Apparently it's a really small city, but it's time to leave Hoi An anyway. The next stop is Hoa Tan, and then we're probably going to make our way to Nha Trang, or somewhere around that area before heading to Dalat and then eventually Ho Chi Minh. So yeah, I think we have a 3-hour drive today, and then probably a 6-hour drive tomorrow, but we kind of want to, do that longer ride and then arrive in a really nice place to relax. So that's the plan for now. Let's see if we can make it. We finally made it to Hoa Tan after 3 hours, probably 3.5 hours of riding, and we've just checked into our hotel, which cost us $8 for the night, and it's not that bad. Check it out. So we got a bed, queen bed, we got a fridge, TV with Netflix, and a bathroom with a shower. So nothing too fancy, but to be honest, for $8, I mean, sounds like a deal. I think we're right by the sea, or really close to the sea anyway, so we may check it out. We have one day here to spend, and I don't think there are much activities in the city or town, so yeah, we'll see. Anyway, this is just a pit stop on our way to Nha Trang. So
the one really strange thing in the city was the constant sound of some kind of birds. And then eventually we realized that it wasn't birds at all, but it was loudspeakers playing this sound. So if anyone knows what this is, please comment and let me know.
So there's a change of plans. I feel like my breathing is terrible. I'm coughing and just making a really weird sound when I'm breathing. So we figured it's probably a better idea to go to a big city, just in case I actually need to see a doctor, which I think I definitely need to do by now. But yeah, it's better to be in a big city to do this. So we're driving 2 hours south right now in the night, but whatever, to Quy Nhon, I think. And yeah, it's a pretty big city. It's 400,000 people, so I think we should be good there. So yeah, let's do this now.
This was probably the scariest drive out of the entire journey. because even you can see it here, there are parts where there are no lights at all, and then you had trucks and buses overtaking you at mad speed. So yeah, definitely don't recommend driving at night in Vietnam.
Yeah, so yesterday I was feeling quite sick. Had almost trouble breathing, so it was a little bit. I was a little bit worried about this, and we figured it's better to be in a city. You have to go see a doctor. But actually getting here, I felt a little bit better. I've been taking antibiotics for like 3 days now, so maybe that's the reason. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not feeling great, but I'm feeling good enough to continue the journey, I guess. And the good thing is Nha Trang is an even bigger city than here, so worst comes to worst, there are hospitals and good doctors there, I'm sure. Now, because we've been traveling every day or every other day, we're getting kind of tired towards this point of the trip, and we figured it would be a good idea to book 3 nights in Nha Trang, you know, to enjoy the beach and yeah, just relax and chill for a little bit.
Along the way to Nha Trang, we found this very interesting Buddha statue, and we've decided to take a little break and get some drone shots. And we were back on the road again. And finally, after driving for hours, we can see Nha Trang in the distance. First things first, we decided to get a hot pot. Then we visited a local bar and went to bed. With no specific plans for the next day, we just roamed the city and relaxed.
This is the second day that we're in Nha Trang, and it's nice to probably not have to ride every day or every other day, just to chill a little bit. However, I do feel that this city is even more touristy than Hoi An. Basically, you can see it by looking at all the hotels that are behind me. The things that we probably don't like too much is that everything is either in Korean or in Russian, which is really strange, but I guess it's because those are the two major population of tourists that come here. The food is also very targeted towards those populations, so it's really strange, but you can get some borscht or other Russian foods here, as well as Korean barbecue. A lot of Western food too here, like pizza, pasta, on every single corner. And we went to a bar yesterday, and the guy just looked at me, and he started speaking Russian, and at some point there were like 5 people in the bar who were all Russian, so it's a little bit strange. Like, you feel like it's not Vietnam anymore. Now we've chosen to stay here for 3 nights because we just needed to rest a little bit and break the routine of driving every day or every other day, like I said. we don't really want to stay here for more than 3 or 4 days because, as I said, very touristy, doesn't really represent the country.
On our last day, we've decided to do something cultural and visit the museum of Dr. Alexander Yersin, a fellow Swiss citizen. Alexander Yersin was a Swiss physician and bacteriologist from Morges, Switzerland. He is renowned for his pivotal role in discovering the bacillus responsible for the bubonic plague. His work laid the foundation for understanding the disease's transmission between rodents and humans. Yersin's contributions went beyond his scientific discoveries. In Vietnam, where he spent much of his life, he is affectionately remembered as a beloved figure. Yersin moved to French Indochina, now Vietnam, in 1890 and established himself in Nha Trang. He played a crucial role in developing medical infrastructure, founding the Pasteur Institute in Nha Trang, which produced the first anti-plague serum. In addition to his medical endeavors, Yersin made significant contributions to agriculture. He pioneered the cultivation of rubber trees and the quinine tree in Vietnam, aiding in the fight against malaria. Yersin's legacy in Vietnam is profound. He was fondly referred to as Ong Nam, which means Uncle Five by the Vietnamese people, and after his death in 1943, the respect and admiration for Yersin persisted. His tomb in Xuôi Đao is honored with a pagoda where rites are performed in his memory. Various landmarks, including Yersin Market in Ho Chi Minh City and the Lycée Français Alexandre Yersin in Hanoi, commemorate his contributions. Additionally, Yersin University in Dalat bears his name, highlighting his lasting impact on education and science in Vietnam.
Currently, I'm in the Penang Temple, which is really old. It's more than 1,200 years old, and it's a Hinduist temple, which I was pretty surprised by because I didn't know they had a lot of Hinduism in Vietnam, but apparently back in the day they did. And this temple is still here, it still stands. People still come and pray to the statue. I mean, it's definitely a really cool place to visit, I think, if you're in Nha Trang.
Po Nagar is an ancient Cham temple dedicated to the goddess Yan Po Nagar. Founded before 781, the temple has a rich history marked by restorations and foreign invasions. The Cham king, Santyavarman, restored the temple in 781 after it had been damaged by invaders. The temple complex is situated in Kulao Mountain and consists of 3 levels with several towers, the main one standing at 25 meters high. The central statue of the temple is a 1.2 meter tall stone image of Yan Po Nagar, identified with Hindu goddesses such as Durga. The temple also features integral sculptures, including one above the entrance depicting Durga, the slayer of the buffalo demon. In the 17th century, the Vietnamese took over the site, incorporating it into their culture and history. They renamed it to honor the goddess Tien Nha. The Po Nagar complex remains a significant cultural and historical landmark, reflecting the rich blend of Cham and Vietnamese heritage.
So anyway, I think we're already late. It's 1:20 p.m. and we still have a 3-hour ride to Dalat, so I think we need to get moving.